What up, my fellow Knicks fans? This is your guy Marcellus Ease, and don't panic quite yet. Now, on the Knicks Media Day, we got to learn a few things. Bobby Portis had lost some weight. It's good to see him get in better shape. Kevin Knox actually put on some muscle weight. And we got the rare chance to see the Knicks front office answer some questions after this past summer 2019 free agency fiasco in regards to what is the plan going forward and which direction are we taking.
There were a lot of max type players that we could have met with that were interested in coming here. We had a certain way we wanted to build this team, and this is how we chose to build it.
Now, this is interesting by Steve Mills. He said max type players that were interested in the Knicks. In my opinion, I'm thinking he's talking about the second tier guys like Al Horford, Jimmy Butler, Paul Millsap, Tobias Harris. I believe that there was a surprising player that we still don't know about that was interested in the Knicks. But the way that the Knicks wanted to actually rebuild this team, they weren't the correct type of high-profile player to build around. And it's great to see that the Knicks front office is actually having some sort of discipline during free agency and sticking to their guns. Now, the Knicks this year are expected to show much more improvement, and this creates a balancing act that David Fizdale has to kind of juggle between getting young guys like RJ Barrett playing time while he goes through his learning curve, while at the same time trying to win games. Thus, this already creates a difficult scenario, much harder than what Kevin Knox went through last season as far as getting minutes.
It'll be the same, but probably tougher on RJ. Because again, I think this team is more talented. I think we have more guys that he has to fight with to get those minutes. But I think the kid is up for it. I think he's the kind of competitor that embraces that competition and that wants to earn those minutes. But at the same time, all of these guys are looking to win more.
This season will be very interesting to see how David Fizdale juggles this lineup, because you got guys like Alonzo Trier who's about to hit free agency. You want to see what he has, because more than likely other teams are going to offer him a nice little payday, and the Knicks will either have to match it or let him walk. Same thing for Frank Ntilikina. They have to make a decision on him and actually see what he has while he's healthy to make a proper evaluation of whether they should keep him going forward or just let him go for nothing. And this is the juggling act, man. It's very difficult of trying to figure out how does Fizz plan on developing the young guys and at the same time trying to win more. And he was asked about this from a media member. He kind of danced around it a little bit, but this was his response.
Well, I feel like there's more balance to the roster than that. You know, I do feel like we do have a real crop of really young guys that we want to continue to grow. But I feel like the guys that we added, they kind of go across the spectrum. You know, when you look at guys like Julius Randle and Bobby Portis, those guys have played in this league and contributed to this league. So I don't look at them as ultra young guys. And then you got guys like Marcus Morris and Taj Gibson and Wayne Ellington who have taken a few laps in this league. So with that balance, I just felt like it all serves each other well. The competition is going to play out how it's going to play out on who plays the most minutes and things like that. But I also think we're in that next phase of development where guys have really got to earn it and really have to compete to get the minutes to help us win games.
Speaking of minutes, the Knicks front court at the point guard position is pretty much going to be crowded with the addition of Alfred Payton, as it's going to be a battle between him, Frank Ntilikina, and Dennis Smith Jr. And Fizdale was asked about it, and he mentioned some of the consistencies that he's looking for. Things he pretty much called out Dennis Smith Jr. at the end of last year for. Not being in shape, not being defensive-minded because you're not in shape. And he's also looking for a guy that's going to be more aggressive on the offensive end. These are things that Frank, hopefully with more confidence, can improve on.
I think it's going to be great competition. I think we'll have between he, Dennis, and Frank. Those guys will be fighting each other every single day, for those minutes. Really at that position, I'm looking at, are they defending their position at a high level? Are they pushing our pace? Are they organizing us while staying aggressive and really keeping our team, being the floor general for our team?
Now, Frank Ntilikina had a great showing at the FIBA World Cup, but Scott Perry has a major decision to make on Frank before the October 31st on whether they're going to exercise his fourth-year team option or they're going to let him walk for nothing. Now, we've seen Frank Ntilikina thrive in the European-style team concept, but can that transition into the NBA, where sometimes it tends to be, especially for young teams, more individualized? And one key thing, again, is Frank's health. He does look healthy, and in the last couple of years, the Knicks had a small sample size of what exactly he could do because of inconsistency with his health and also inconsistency with talent around him. But Scott Perry was asked about Frank's performance and, what's going on with his contract situation.
Well, first of all, about Frank, very happy to see how he performed over in the World Cup. Watched a number of his games very closely. I think you can see him gaining confidence, which is a very important thing, and you hope that now that carries over in here to start a training camp. And he's gotten a little bigger and stronger. We actually, visited with him when we were out in Las Vegas too, before he went to the World Cup, and to see he's, starting to fill out again. You all knew how young he was when he came into the league, so he's just, hopefully taking that, next step just from a maturation standpoint, just physically and mentally. So I think he's in a good place coming into training camp. So we'll see how he, performs through camp. We have until October 31st to do that, and obviously we won't discuss, any kind of contract things in detail. So that's all I can tell you right now.
Scott Perry was also asked a great question by one of the media members about the team continuing on with these one-year contracts every single season. See, we don't want to get into the habits of building up certain players for them to go elsewhere. For example, what happened with Emmanuel Mudiay, the Knicks did develop him to a slightly more smarter, more efficient player, just for him to leave the team and take that talent onto Utah. So he took that development that we gave him onto a different team. So we don't want to get kind of stuck in that rabbit hole.
No, I hope, obviously, I think we upgraded our talent, and I hope that some of these guys will be here longer term, based on how that plays out. But that's going to play out organically through the season. That's going to play out through the competition that we have every day in practice. And then once we start playing games against competition, who's going to be here? One thing we can tell you that all these guys really want to be here. They want to win. They're focused on the team, and they understand that the best way to either stay here or, and make themselves even more valuable around the league is to win, to contribute to winning. So that's what we're excited about.
With a lot of players rotating in and out the team on one-year deals, every single season you got to ask yourself, what is the team's identity? What's going to be the new structure? Fizdale was asked this, and he basically touched on how the Knicks were going to have to start establishing a pecking order so guys could start understanding their roles so the team could start building an identity. And this is going to be important for guys like RJ Barrett, because everywhere he's either been the number 1 or 2 option.
Well, I think that we'll obviously we want to keep up with the Joneses from a pace standpoint. I don't see us being, one of those teams that's just running everybody out of the gym. But at the same time, I would like to see us have a hard-nosed defensive mentality that can get us out into the open court. We signed some guys that can really rebound the basketball, and that's a big part of getting out and playing in the open court. And then we want to also, structure the offense in a way that everybody feels engaged and involved, with the understanding that there is a pecking order from who's going to be who's going to emerge as the top scorer, the second scorer, and all of those things. But obviously with the young team last year, wasn't always pretty, but we got to look at some things and experiment with some things that we can pull from that and bring into the next year.
And finally, expectations. Scott Perry was asked about his expectations this season. And as I told you guys over the summer, David Fizdale is not going to be graded in that same curve as last season.
Well, look, again, as I mentioned in the opening, we are looking to get better every single day, starting tomorrow. This is how we're going to compete on a daily basis. We expect to be in, every night we go out to play, we're playing to win. We're playing to win. And we're not in the prediction business. I'm not here to predict records, but I expect us to be better, an improved basketball team, and I expect the team to grow and develop and show that and exhibit that throughout the course of the season.
And I agree. The Knicks have more than enough talent this season to remain competitive day in and day out. My only question is that, are they going to allow guys like Alonzo Trier, Frank Ntilikina, and RJ Barrett get enough consistent minutes to see what they have, especially guys like Trier. Trier's in a contract year, Frank Ntilikina is almost in the same situation. We got to see what these guys have before we let them go for nothing. Like I said, this season is going to be like a juggling act. It's going to be like, yo, we have to be better. But yet we have certain situations with guys where we have to see what we have. Like, what can these guys really do? You guys let me know what you think. You guys stay safe. Peace.